Hey friends, glad to see you today. It's our first time through doing Explore the Bible. For me, recording under quarantine or being in the house. I'm not quarantined, I guess, but we're at stay-at-home orders here. And so first time to record during that time. We did several weeks in advance, but excited about looking today at the passage that comes for Easter Sunday. And of course, you know, for the Christian, every Sunday is the celebration of the resurrection. But Easter Sunday is important to us, and it'll be different than it's ever been before, right? But we're excited about looking at the passage this week from Luke chapter 24. This passage, as we jump out and explore the Bible, we've been in the book of Romans. We're going to jump out for a week here for Easter Sunday, and looking forward to this passage from Luke 24 as we see this the resurrection appearances. We pick up here on that first Sunday, right? The first day of the week, which is Sunday. You know, in America, at least on our calendar, Sunday is the first day of the week. I know a lot of places in the world, their calendar is Monday with the first day of the week. But for us, Sunday is the first day of the week, which fits with what is going on here, right? He says, on the first day of the week, very early in the morning, they came to the tomb, bringing the spices they had prepared. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb. They went in, but did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. Now, this is the women that have gone to the tomb, and Luke is the gospel that really emphasizes a lot the women that were in Jesus' life and what happened with them. And so here we have this. They're coming to the tomb, bringing the spices, and they find this tomb rolled away. Now, the stone rolled away from the tomb. Okay, just a quick thing on that. This stone probably weighs at least a ton, 2,000 pounds. It's rolled down a hill, down a slope into position in front of the opening to the tomb. And then a rock is placed there, you know, around it kind of at the small so that it doesn't roll. Not that it's going to go anywhere, that's for sure. But when they get there, the text indicates that it was not just rolled away, it was rolled back up the hill with the rock placed in front of it so it won't roll back down. So this was quite a feat, right? This wasn't just somebody toppling the thing over or something like that. It's rolled back up the hill, and certainly it wasn't something these women had done. They go in, they don't find the body of the Lord Jesus. So what do? Well, they do what we would do, right? Verse 4 says they were perplexed about this. They were perplexed. That doesn't make any sense. Well, that's what we would do, right? We'd be perplexed. If we were to imagine if you were to go to a cemetery to visit a loved one, and you get to the cemetery and there you find an open grave and an empty coffin in the grave. Now, you're not going to go, oh, well, that looks normal, right? You're going to be perplexed. What's going on? And then it says, suddenly, 2 men stood by them in dazzling clothes, so the women were terrified and bowed down to the ground. Once again, that's what I would do. If, you know, I see that, I'm like, what is going on here? This doesn't make any sense. And then suddenly 2 men are there in these dazzling white clothes. I'm falling to the ground scared to death because something is not right. Something has changed here in reality. And these men say, why are you looking for the living among the dead? As if they knew something, right? They knew what had happened. They knew something was going on. And what they were doing, what the women were doing, was exactly what you would expect, right? They were coming to visit the body. They were going to finish the preparations that weren't able to be done on the day that Jesus had died and was buried because of the Sabbath. And so they're not coming looking for a living person. They're looking for a dead person. Why are you looking for the living among the dead? He is not here, but he has risen. Okay, this sentence right here, world-changing sentence. Think of all the things, if you just had that, he is not here, somebody took his body. He's not here, you've come to the wrong place. You're at the wrong tomb. He is not here. He has risen. World-changing sentence. Remember how he spoke to you when he was still in Galilee, saying it is necessary that the Son of Man be betrayed into the hands of sinful men, be crucified, and rise on the third day? Jesus had been saying for a long time what was going to happen. He had been telling his followers, his disciples, those who were with him, what was going to happen. But they could not, would not believe, understand, could not fathom, thought it has to be, he has to be speaking in code, he's speaking metaphorically. There's no way what he's saying is literal. He's got to be speaking in some kind of pictures that we're just not able to grasp right now, right? They couldn't get it. I can understand that, can't you? I'm right there with them. I didn't get it. But I like this. And they remembered his words. When they were reminded about what he had said, then they remembered them. Oh, okay. They remembered what he had said. They remembered all the time Jesus had been saying that. Yeah, I remember that. But still, even if you remember that, would you just automatically go, well, I guess that's what happened? And we'll find out is that in the weeks, months, years to come, that this would be true over and over again. They would remember things that Jesus had said. They would begin repeating his teachings to others. As they remembered his statements, they would repeat them over and over and over again, right? So they go back to the 11. They go back to the disciples, and they tell them what's going on. And here it says, Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary, the mother of James, the other women with them were telling the apostles these things, but these words seemed like nonsense to them, and they did not believe the women. That makes sense to me. Doesn't it make sense to you? I mean, look, it's not because they were men, okay? Maybe some of you ladies, that's what you're thinking. Well, they were men. Of course, they didn't believe what the women said. And maybe, I don't know, you're a man said, of course I wouldn't believe what the woman said, but who would believe anybody telling them, here's what happened. We went down to the tomb, the stone was rolled up, and he wasn't there, his body was gone, and these two men appeared and told us that he'd risen from the dead. Who's going to believe that? Nobody's going to believe that word. The words seemed like nonsense to them. They did not believe the women. It just seemed like nonsense. Okay, look. I think that it is significant that no one believed the eyewitness accounts of these women because it was fanciful. It was fantasy. It was not realistic. And so those who say that this was all a story made up by the disciples, that somehow they had created this story out of whole cloth to try to carry on the ministry and the myth of who Jesus is, those people makes no sense because the disciples, when they heard the story, were like, that's crazy. No one would make that up. Who would make that up to further religion? Nobody. Nobody had ever done it before, and nobody has ever done it since. So why would they have done it? It was crazy to them. That's fantasy. That's not, there's no way that's based anywhere in reality. That was the way they looked at it. So Peter gets up and runs to the tomb. When he stopped or stooped to look in, he saw only the linen cloth, so he went away amazed at what had happened. Peter said, I got to see this for myself. I don't believe you women, you went to the wrong tomb, all right? You didn't take a close look. Maybe somebody rolled the stone away, but his body's still there, whatever. Peter had to go look, and when he gets there, he looks in, he sees the cloths there, and this indicates that the cloths were in the form that they were still wrapped around a body, but there was no body in them, as if the body had just somehow exited from the cloths, not unwound from them, but just vanished from the midst of the cloth. Peter went away amazed. He couldn't believe it, right? Yeah, I'm with Peter. Who would believe it, right? Who would look at that and go, oh, well, yeah, I can see what happened now. Nobody would do that. He was amazed at what had happened, as we all ought to be. This historical account of the resurrection of Christ and all the other accounts become extremely important because the proof, the truth, the reality of Christianity is based in the resurrected Christ. If he's not raised, then all we do is in vain. If he's not raised, all our belief is foolishness. But he is, and that's why we celebrate. Hey, thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed this. God bless. We'll see you next time.